We're back with the Music Nerds radio show. Sydney here.
Chris.
Scarlett and Lisa. After a long hiatus, we're back. Before we get into this episode, we're gonna tell you all what we've been up to. We moved to LA and we're in college at UCLA. Class of 2027.
As you all know, our dear friend Tasha was shot and killed at a college party. The killer was caught and the trial is coming up in a couple weeks.
R.I.P. Tasha.
On the positive side, me and Maya got married on November 18th. We're Mr. and Mrs. Johns.
Now let's do our recap of what happened in the year. Starting with celebrity deaths. Because people were dropping like flies. We're not going in any specific order. For example, Friends star Matthew Perry, who played Chandler.
Matthew Perry died on October 28th at the age of 54.
He was found unresponsive in a hot tub in his Los Angeles home. His funeral was at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, and his 5 Friends co-stars were in attendance. Chandler was one of my favorite characters.
Then there's Harry Belafonte. He died on April 25th at age 96. He's a Pisces like me.
He was a famous singer, actor and civil rights activist who made calypso music popular in the 1950s and 60s. He died of heart failure.
And there's Lisa Marie Presley, the daughter of Elvis Presley. She died on January 12th at age 54 of cardiac arrest.
I was so shocked when she died. She was interred in the Graceland Meditation Garden near her dad and son.
She died on my dad's birthday.
And let's not forget the Queen of Rock, Tina Turner. She was 83 when she died on May 24th at her home in Küsnacht, Zurich, Switzerland. I loved her and I still do to this day. Especially her song What's Love Got to Do With It. She's a Sagittarius just like me. And I recently watched her biopic. And she didn't deserve the abuse Ike put her through. What a jackass he is. She was cremated after her private funeral. Celebrities that mourned her death were Beyoncé, Janelle Monáe, Diana Ross, Mariah Carey, Lionel Richie, Elton John, Madonna, Dolly Parton, Cher, Lizzo, Mick Jagger etc. Patti LaBelle paid tribute to her at the 2023 BET Awards.
There's also Jerry Springer, who died on April 27th of pancreatic cancer. I wasn't really a fan of him.
Yeah, and last and definitely least, Carolyn Bryant Donham. You know, the old bitch who lied about Emmett Till and got him murdered. She died at 88 on the same day as Harry Belafonte. She died of cancer in Louisiana.
Her death is a permanent reminder that justice can never be served in the Emmett Till case.
Yeah, because the Mississippi justice system used every excuse they could pull out of their ass why they couldn't charge her. For example, she was too old. So she got away with this for 68 years.
I didn't know there was an age restriction for charging someone for a crime.
There's not. They were just trying to get out of doing anything to her.
Why didn't they get her when she was younger?
Because she was a mother of young children and they didn't want to bother her. Oh, whatever.
They found a warrant with her name on it from 1955. There is no statute of limitations for murder and warrants don't expire. So as long as she was still alive, it wasn't too late to charge her with anything. Emmett's killers were arrested and later acquitted. Because they were protected by double jeopardy, they confessed to the murder to Look magazine.
First, let me go over what led up to Emmett's killing and how he died for the sake of the uninformed. So on August 24, 1955, he was accused of whistling at Carolyn in her store in Money, Mississippi. 4 days later on August 28, Carolyn's husband Roy Bryant and his half-brother J.W. Milam showed up to Emmett's uncle's house and kidnapped Emmett. He was kidnapped in the middle of the night, taken to a barn on a plantation and beat him to death till sunrise to the point where his eyes were dislodged. He was also missing an ear, his tongue and most of his teeth. Then they had the nerve to shoot him in the head and dump his body in the Tallahatchie River.
Oh my goodness, how awful.
And during the trial, do you know what Carolyn did? Her ass had the gall to say that he grabbed her by the waist, threatened to assault her and begged her for a date. All the while N-wording the whole thing through.
That's how she gave her whole testimony?
Yeah, talking about how the N-word did this and the N-word did that, and 60 plus years later, we're finding out he didn't do any of that shit. He never made any advances or threats to her. And she has a tell-all book called I Am More Than a Wolf Whistle, but they're not releasing it until 2036.
Why so long?
I don't know. She's dead now, so they might as well release it now. She not only admitted that she over-exaggerated her testimony, but she lied. I hope this ratchet bitch rots in hell for all of eternity and beyond.
I wonder where she's buried at.
They probably had to put her in an unmarked grave, because you know people would go piss on that and whatnot. Or they probably cremated her.
Probably. And the actual killers are buried somewhere, and I never heard anything about their graves getting messed with. But we heard plenty about Emmett's marker getting shot up and they had to keep replacing it.
Yeah, and Carolyn's brother-in-law gave this statement in his confession in 1956.
What does it say?
You really want to know? Well then I'll tell you. Well, what else could we do? He was hopeless. I'm no bully, I never heard a nigger in my life. I like niggers in their place. I know how to work 'em. But I just decided it was time a few people got put on notice. As long as I live and can do anything about it, niggers are gonna stay in their place. Those are the words coming from the killer confessing to the murder of Emmett Till.
Well, I hope they're burning in hell for what they did to that boy.
And Emmett's mother Mamie Till died in 2003. She spent her whole life trying to get justice for her son and had to go to the grave without getting it. And I give her props for allowing the whole world to see what those racist punks did to her son. Because that kicked off the civil rights movement. So that means if she didn't choose to have an open casket and let the world see this, then there might not have been a civil rights movement.
Now that we got all that out the way, let's talk about the Oscars, Grammys, Golden Globe, and AACP and BET Awards.
The 95th Academy Awards was held on March 12, 2023 at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood. It was held the day after my daughter was born. The main winners are Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert for Best Director. The 96th Awards will be on March 10th. Then we got the 65th Grammy Awards on February 5, 2023. Winners for Record of the Year are Beyoncé for Break My Soul, Lizzo for About Damn Time, Adele for Easy on Me, Harry Styles for As It Was. I could go on. The 66th Awards will be on February 4th.
The 80th Golden Globe Awards was held on January 10, 2023.
John Wick, Chapter 4, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Barbie, The Super Mario Bros. Movie 1. Now how about this BET Awards? It aired on June 25th, the anniversary of Michael Jackson's death, and it was so ghetto. SZA won Best Female R&B and Pop Artist, Angela Bassett won Best Actress, Coco Jones won Best New Artist, Beyoncé won for Break My Soul.
But here's more sad stuff. On April 13th, a 16-year-old black teenager named Ralph Yarl was shot, an 84-year-old white man named Andrew Lester.
He ended up at the wrong address to pick up his brothers and ended up getting shot through a door by an old white man. Thankfully he survived. But come on, why is your first reaction to someone ringing your doorbell? Because he was black? The fuck is wrong with you? But get this, 2 months later on June 2nd, 35-year-old AJ Owens, who was a black mother to 4 kids, was shot by her racist neighbor also through a door. The shooter, 58-year-old Susan Lawrence, was harassing her kids. She called them racial slurs and threw roller skates at them. When AJ knocked on her door to confront her, she shot her. Susan is getting charged with manslaughter, but she should be getting charged with murder. Her trial is set for the end of June.
Wow! Just wow.
But get this, back in September, after the 27th anniversary of Tupac's murder, his killer was finally caught and arrested.
Finally. Took them long enough. Now they need to find Biggie's killer. They both deserve justice.
Got that right. Tupac's killer is 60-year-old Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. He is getting charged with first-degree murder. His trial is set for June 3rd.
I think we're done now. Go ahead and like and subscribe. See you next time on the Music Nerds Radio Show.